Like, you don't have to spend $1 million on Facebook ads. The worst thing that'll happen is you'll learn some stuff. I used to be a huge anti-Facebook ads guy. Facebook ads is absolutely insane. The key to these ads though, it's all about the offer. It's crazy how many calls you have to take before you actually get a real lead.
What are the components of a good offer, and then specifically how does that apply to contractors?
Half the price sounds almost too good to be true. You want people to know it's for them, you want them to know what it is, and then you want them to know why it's too good to refuse.
You really do need to have something to differentiate yourself and give them a reason to go with you, especially when they don't know who you are.
My favorite way to do targeting is to just not do targeting. So last time we were talking about Google Local Service ads. Today I want to talk a little bit about Facebook ads. I used to be a huge anti-Facebook ads guy. Like, I don't really use Facebook myself, but about 1.5 years ago, I started using Facebook ads for lead gen for some of my contractor clients. And what I found was that for the clients that have a really good offer to make, Facebook ads is absolutely insane. Some of my favorite things about it, like if you compare it to Google ads, the one problem with Google ads, if you've ever run Google ads, is you get a ton of spam. You get people clicking on your ads all the time, costing you money. You get phone calls from telemarketers. You get phone calls from people trying to sell you advertising. Like, it's crazy how many calls you have to take before you actually get a real lead. And that's because when you're running an ad on Google, anybody and their mom can just go on Google, type something in and find your ad and click on it. So it's really open to the public, which is a disadvantage when you compare it to Facebook ads. Now, the thing about Facebook ads is people are scrolling through their Facebook feed and then the ad pops up. And it's not random. Facebook knows who this person is. It knows what kind of things they've been surfing on, knows what they've been purchasing. I mean, they're probably even listening to what people say. So they know everything about people on Facebook, and so they're able to deliver ads to them that are geared specifically for what they are more likely to purchase. And so getting those ads put directly in front of people is a big advantage, as opposed to just showing ads to anybody who wants to look for them, because now you're not getting all these spammers hitting you up trying to sell you stuff. The key to these ads though, it's all about the offer. So on this article that I wrote, I threw an example in of an ad that's worked really well for us. And underneath I put the results, a snapshot of what the results on just 2 campaigns. So these are 2 campaigns that we've been running for about the last year or so. And you can see that all in all, it's close to 400 leads produced. And for those 400 leads, we're looking at about $20,000. And so that's about $50 per lead, which if you've bought leads from HomeAdvisor or Google Ads or anything, you know that $50 isn't bad. For HomeAdvisor, you're likely to pay more than that. And you're buying the same lead, the same contact information that 3 or more other contractors bought. So now there's 3 or more of you calling these people nonstop, bugging the crap out of them. But with Facebook ads, these people saw the ad. It says one thing: locally made windows installed for half the price. Anybody who's in the market for windows sees that offer, and they're gonna at least stop and think about it for a second. They're gonna be like, well, wait a minute, that half the price sounds almost too good to be true. But by saying that they're locally made, you're giving the excuse of why they're so cheap. So boom, now you've got somebody filling out this form, giving you their contact information. You get to call them. Now, this on its own isn't going to make you successful. This only gets you to the phone call, but you have to be able to follow up and actually deliver on your offer, which this particular client is amazing at. You know, this guy, he sources his windows locally, so they're a lot cheaper. He also knows every single detail of what all the other window companies are pitching these people. So he actually likes to go in behind them and just rip apart their entire sales pitch. And one of the things he says, which cracks me up, is he'll tell people like, oh, you know, I bet they offered you a big discount, didn't they? And of course they always do. And he says, well, I don't offer you discounts because I give you the best price the first time. And that kind of stuff really helps people trust him. And so once he has the trust, he already has a product of equal quality for up to 50% less than what his competitors are charging. And so all in all, this business model works really well, and all of his leads are coming from Facebook ads. So another thing I'll throw in about Facebook ads is targeting is a big part of it. And my favorite way to do targeting is to just not do targeting. If I was in like San Francisco, the only targeting I would do is I would make sure that I'm only showing my ads to people in San Francisco. But other than that, I would let Facebook figure out who to show the ads to, and I would focus all my attention on this offer. If you put your offer out there, it's kind of like fishing. You know, you're putting something out there, you see what you get back, and you want to try this a whole bunch of times. And when you have an offer that starts to work, you're training Facebook, like the algorithm, you're training it to find more of these people that are filling out your lead form and becoming your leads. And over time, this can become very successful. Another thing I'll throw in is you definitely always want to track your results very closely. So it's easy here to see how many leads were bought, how much it costs per lead, but beyond that, you want to track how many leads are converting into sales, how much those sales are actually worth to you, so that you can have the $20,000 that you spent on ads on one side and the $200,000 that you made on the other side, and know exactly how much you spent and how much you made. Do you have any questions about that, Roman?
I do. I want to hear more about the offer and what are the components of a good offer, and then specifically, how does that apply to contractors?
Sure. So components of an offer. First, you want to make sure that it's immediately clear who it's for. So locally made windows installed for half the price. There's a picture of two guys installing a windows in a house. So when someone sees this, immediately they know that we're not talking about car windows. We're talking about house windows. So we're letting them know who it's for. It's for them. And then the next thing is we want them to know what it is. So, hey, this is for me. It's about home windows. And then the third thing is you want them to know why it's such a good deal. So half the price. So, okay, I'm in the market for windows. This is about windows. It's half the price. So that's like an offer that's almost too good to refuse. And it's a little suspicious because it is like too good of an offer, but oh, they're locally made. Now I've got a reason for it. So the three components, you want people to know it's for them. You want them to know what it is, and then you want them to know why it's too good to refuse.
That's solid.
What other questions?
That's really cool. And I think that's an important thing for everyone in every industry to understand, because it's not, I mean, in smaller towns, sometimes you can just get away with saying, hey, I do windows and we are available. But that does not fly in more competitive markets at all. And you really do need to have something to differentiate yourself and give them a reason to go with you, especially when they don't know who you are.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the kind of offer that could work really well in a highly competitive area. But for other types of contractors, it could be a little more difficult to come up with these offers. And that's why it's so important to you make a list of these things, have a list going all the time. And when you're driving around in your truck and you think of something, write it down and just keep this thing going so that you can go test them. For like a remodeling company, for example, an offer that worked really good last year was just having availability. Like, hey, we'll answer the phone when you call and we can start your project immediately. That was a big deal because so many contractors were booked up and most of them weren't even returning calls. And so people were having a really hard time even getting a hold of someone. And so having the offer out there that, hey, we'll actually answer the phone and we can start your project next week, that is an interesting offer to some people. Another thing that works on Facebook, like let's just take remodeling again as an example. When someone hires someone to remodel their home, they really need to trust that person or that company. They want to know a lot about them. They want to know who these people are, what their background is. They want to feel like they know them before they even make contact. And so you can run Facebook ads that are more like a post where you're just telling your story. Maybe you have a picture or two or a video, and just kind of like a post, like a paragraph or two explaining like who you are, why you do what you do, how long you've been doing it. Maybe drop in some nugget offers like, we have a 2-month slot open in August or whatever. And that way, if someone is in the market for a remodel and maybe they're already talking to somebody or they already have some people in mind that they're going to contact, they'll see that and hopefully they'll relate to you and you'll become a candidate for their project just because you were there at the right time and you showed them some way to relate to you and to know who you are and to trust you. So I've seen those kind of ads work quite a bit. And as always, like if you're in a more rural area, you're going to have a lot less competition, and simple, basic ads that don't seem amazing might actually get you amazing results.
Yeah, I mean, I see literally like Facebook groups for small towns, and someone will go in and say, "Hey, I do car detailing, and I am available this week." And I'm like, "This isn't going to work." And then I check back, and the guy's got 29 comments with like, "Yeah, I've been looking for someone. It's so hard to find a detailer out here." Like, he put no social proof. There was no deal. There was nothing. It was just, I exist and I do this.
Yeah, I
So that's
mean,
that. You're right. That works in small towns, man. It's crazy to me.
absolutely. Yeah, like you could be a painter and just like throw up a selfie of yourself and say like, I'm fully booked, but I have a spot open next week that I can paint up to 4 rooms. Get a hold of me. And someone might be like, oh, heck yeah, I couldn't even get someone to call me back. This guy will do it next week.
Especially when so many contractors and companies like that, their websites, too often they feel so sterile. Like you said, making one of those ads that looks like a post where you tell your story, like that's more personal than most contractor websites will ever get.
Yeah.
Like telling that story, put in the like get building that know, like, and trust before they even meet you is so crucial. That's why I love video content.
Yeah, like if you wanted a bathroom remodel job, maybe you have a spot open soon or whatever, tell a story of you remodeling a bathroom and show some cool pictures and talk about how happy your client was and whatever. Like, just throw some stuff out there. You really don't have a lot to lose, but just like be yourself and put yourself out there. That's where most contractors go wrong, is like they don't want to put pictures of themselves. They don't want to talk about themselves. They're always like, it's not about me. It's about like my craftsmanship or my product or my customers or whatever. But it's like, no, your customers want to know who you are. And if they don't know anyone else and you happen to become the contractor that they know the best just from one post they read, well, now you're going to be the one that they call. And yeah, so it's, give it a try and just track your results really closely. Like, you don't have to spend $1 million on Facebook ads. They make it pretty easy to go boost a post and, spend a little bit of money, try it out. The worst thing that'll happen is you'll learn some stuff.
Yeah, and the thing about the craftsmanship, I've heard that a lot, but it's so funny because we need to think about most people's buyer journey. If I need to get my bathroom remodeled, if I know someone who does that, well, that's who I'm hiring because I know them, I have that relationship with them. If I don't, then I'm going to search online and I'm going to look at the first 5 websites that pop up in Google Maps. I'm going to compare their websites. And if one of those has a video of the owner telling their story of how they got started and what they do, and none of the other ones do, I'm going to go with the one where I can see the owner's face. And at no point in this process have I thought about quality. And this is how most people think. It's all relationships in this industry.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it feels more risky to hire someone you don't know. And so you just want people to know you, and then they'll feel less risky hiring you, or at least giving you a shot. Like, Facebook ads isn't going to get you a job, but it'll get you a conversation.
Definitely. And I'm not saying that craftsmanship's unimportant. Because that's how you get the next job and the next job.
Yeah.
And how you get the callbacks.
And that's a really good point. So that client that I just showed with the Facebook ad that sells windows,